Good morning to all. This is the Professor Rathod VU from the Department of Computer Engineering, uh, Chhatrapati Engineering College, Nefti, Ahmednagar. For today's lecture, we talk about the file organization. File organization. Here, first of all, talk about the types of file organization. There are basically 4 types of file organization. First is a serial file organization. All the data stored in a serially manner in that file organization. Second is a sequential file organization. All the data stored in a sequential manner in that file organization. Third one is a index sequential file organization. In that index sequential file organization, all the records provide the one key index, and by using this index we can access these records. And fourth one is the direct access, or also called as a random access file organization. Okay, so talk about some detail regarding the serial file organizations. A serial file organization consists of a record. All these records know any particular sequence. In a serial file organization, all the records are not stored in any particular sequence. Serial file organization cannot be used as a master file. Serial file organization use the temporary transaction file. Here, serial file organization cannot be used as a master file, but serial file organization can be used as a temporary transaction file. Records stored in the order received. Those order record received, that record can be stored on the that record manner. Okay. Sequential. Next is a sequential file organization. Next types of file organization is a sequential file organization. A sequential file organization consists of a collection of records. In that sequential file organization, stored in a key sequence. All the records are stored in a key sequence. Adding or deleting a record required making a new file. If you adding any record, if you deleting any record making we create making a new file for adding and adding or deleting a record for sequential file organizations. Use a master file. Sequential file organization use the master file, but in the previous serial file organization cannot use the master file. Sequential or serial file organization use the temporary file for accessing the record. Here is a sequential file organization use a master files. Okay, here is a sequential file organization structure. Here is a sequential file organization structure. This structure consists of a collection of a record. Here figure shows that first record, after the first record, one is the record terminator. After first record, one is the record terminator. Actually, All the record, ending of the all the record consists of a record terminator. Here is a record 1, record 2, dot dot up to record n minus 1, and end of the sequential file organization is record n. Here record 1 is the beginning of the file, and record n is the end of the file, and intermediate between the two record is must record terminator. This is the structure of a sequential file organization. Okay, here is the sequential file organization. uh, Here every record provide the key fields. Yes, the figure shows that every record provide the key field. By using, we identify or we retrieve the record by using these key fields. That is called as sequential file organization. Okay, sequential file organization consists of a collection of a record, and all the records separated by the record terminator. Okay, to enable sequential form of the record, the new record are placed in a log file or transaction file. Placed in a log file. First of all, if you adding a record in a sequential file organization, first these record put it into the log file, and this log file is also called as a transaction file. Okay, then the batch update is performed to merging the log file with the master file to the produce the new file with the correct key sequence. To correct key sequence, if you adding the any record in a sequential file organization, to enable sequential form of the records, new records are placed in a log file, or this log file is also known as a transaction file transaction file. And then the batch update is performed to merging the log file with the master file to produce the new file with the correct sequence. Okay, here is some advantages of sequential file organization. First advantages is that sequential file organization is simple to design. Simple file design structure. All the records are stored in a sequential manner, one after another by separating the record terminator. Okay. Second is a very efficient. This file organization is very efficient when most of the record must be processed. Example of a sequential file organization is the payroll sheet. Payroll sheet is the example of a sequential file organization. And third advantage is very efficient if the data has to in natural order. If the data is organized in a natural order, this means sequential file organization is a very efficient if the data has stored in sequential natural order. Sorry, can be stored on a inexpensive devices. Can be Sequential file organization can be stored on a inexpensive devices like magnetic tape. And every technology, I have already told that every technology in computer science, some of the advantages and some of the drawbacks. Here is one of the, we have already know that all are advantages, but sequential organization consists of some of the drawback is also. Entire file must be processed even if a single record is to be searched. If you searching one single record, we must processing a whole file. Here is a drawback of a sequential file organization structure. Entire file must be processed even if a single record to be searched. Next drawback is a transaction has to be transaction have to be sorted before the processing. If you processing any record, or if you searching any record, transaction have to be sorted before the processing in sequential file organization structure. Overall processing is very low. Overall processing is slow. Overall processing is very slow due to the sequential manner. All the record are sequential manner. That's all. Overall processing is very slow. uh, next file organization type will be direct or random file organization. In a direct or random file organization, record are read directly from or write onto the file. You can read the record. If you want to read the record from the direct file organization, can be read directly from that file. And another operation will be a write operation. You can directly perform on a direct file organization structure. Records are stored at a known address. All the records are stored at a known address. Address is a These known address is calculated by applying mathematical functions to the key field. These address is calculated by applying mathematical function, some mathematical function, to calculate the key field address, and all the records are stored on the basis of a key field address. Okay. Here is a random file would have to be sorted on a direct access backing a storage medium like magnetic disk, CD, or DVDs. Here, example of a direct or random file organization is any information retrieval system. Example, train timetable system. Train timetable system. Here is some of the advantages of a direct file organization or any random file organization. Any record can be directly accessed. Obviously, a name indicates any record can be directly accessed from the direct random access file organization structure. Speed of the record processing is very fast. Due to the directly accessing of any record from that file, speed of the record processing is very fast. Next advantages is up to date file because of online updating. These files are updating. For example, we have already know that example of a random file or file organization is any information retrieval system. For example, train timetable system. This train timetable system is already updated, up to date file because of online updating. Okay. Next advantages is the concurrent processing is possible. Here is a concurrent processing. In the concurrent processing is possible in a direct or random access file organization. Okay. And some of the drawback of a direct access direct or random file organization. First drawback is, or first limitation will be, more complex than the sequential file organization. Obviously, all the records are or in a random access or direct access file organization structure is more complicated than the sequential file organization structures. Okay. Next drawback, does not fully use a memory location. Here is a direct or random file organization structure cannot be fully use memory location. And here more security is provided, or more backup problem occurred during the direct access or randomly access file organizations. Next types of file organization. is the index file organization or index file organization structures. Each record of a file has a key field. Here is an index file or index sequential file organization. Each record of file has a key field which uniquely identify that record. Every index or every records provide one unique identify the key fields. By using this key field, we can access all these records. Index consists of a keys. These index consist of a keys and address. Index consists of a keys and address. An indexed sequential file is sequential files, that is sorted into the order of the key field which has an index. A full index to the file is one in which there is an entry for every records. Full index to a file is one in which there is an entry for every records. Here, index sequential file structure. Here is a key definition of a index sequential file record. First is a primary index. First row or first level index, primary index, and these index created with the help of employee name. With the help of employee name. By using this employee name, provide one key field, and this key field perform the all the records related to the employee record. Okay. Here is the level of index sequential file organization. Here is a level 1 main file. Afterward the index level 1. Afterward index level 2, and last one is index level 3. Indexed sequential file are important for application where data need to be accessed. Sequentially and randomly using the index. Okay. Index sequential file can only be stored on a random access devices. Index sequential file can only be stored on a random access devices. Example of a random access devices would be magic disk, CD, etc. Here some of the advantages of a index sequential file organization. Provide the flexibility for the user who need both types of access with the same file. Second advantages is the faster than sequential. Next is a limitation of a sequential index file organization. Extra storage space for the index is required due to the appending of the every record. First field will be the index. Due to this index field, extra storage space is required. Here in the file input output in C. Here we have already discussed about this function is fopen function. Fopen function consists of a two parameter. It could be the two arguments. First is a file name. Second is a option. Option consists of a read mode, R mode, W mode, and A mode, etc. We have already discussed R mode consists of reading for the reading purpose, W mode for writing purpose, and A mode for appending purpose. Okay, here is the batch processing. Batch processing is updating master file periodically to reflect all the transactions that occur during the given time periods. The master file is updated at a set time or whenever the manageable number of the transactions are gathered. Transaction data can either be entered as a batch or as an each transaction occurred. Batch processing is a updating master file periodically reflect to all transactions that occur during the given time period. The master file is updated at a set of or whenever the manageable number of transactions are gathered. Transaction data can either be entered as a batch or each transaction occurred. Here is a batch processing scenario. Group source document into the batch, and this is the overall system of a batch processing. And here enter the online batch processing. Data fetched from the online form and enter the transaction into the system as they occurred. Here is the scenario of a online batch processing. Online or real time processing. In online or real time processing, the computer captured the data electronically. The computer captured the data electronically, edit it for accuracy and completeness, and immediately processed it. The computer also processed the information request from the user. Those taken the request from the user and process according to the that way. Okay, in online or real time processing, enter transaction into the system as they occurred. Advantages of each method. Here the main advantages of batch processing was efficiency in the processing. First advantages is that main advantages of batch processing was efficiency in processing. To improve the efficiency in the processing by using the batch processing. Second is online data entry is more accurate than the periodic batch input because the system can refuse incomplete or erroneous entries. Second, next will be the real-time processing ensure that the information in the master file is always correct. Always